I've been with my fiancée for 3 years now, and we started to talk about marriage. We live together and have for the last 9 months. We are very compatible in a lot of areas, rarely argue, and generally really enjoy each other's company. When quarantine hit, I lost my job, and so haven't worked since the end of March. My field of work is hard to get into anyway, so throw a pandemic into the mix, and I am struggling to find another job. My boyfriend has been able to work from home, and so we have spent a lot of time together during isolation. We were close to begin with, but now we feel a lot closer, hence the marriage conversation. So we started talking about getting engaged. I've always thought that I would love the simple get down on one knee proposal, and I would also like the ring to be a surprise. I'd love to know what sort of ring he would choose, and personally, I think it adds to the element of surprise. I expressed to him what I don't want in a ring, and that is too much bling. I don't want a ridiculously large stone, and I also don't want a really expensive one. I personally can't justify spending a fortune on a piece of jewelry. We then started to discuss what sort of wedding we would like, etc. Fast forward to the next morning, and as I'm making our coffee, I spot a new money box on the countertop. It is one of those 10s that you can only open with a 10 opener. I ask him why we have that, as we have a joint savings account, and so it seemed unnecessary. He said it's for me, and I can start saving for my engagement ring. I must have looked very confused, because he said he thought that I wanted to get engaged. I said I do, but I didn't think I would be buying my own ring. He actually gets mildly annoyed and says, well, why should I pay for it? I'm not going to be wearing it. So that's unfair. He then tells me I'm entitled and spoiled, and how he can't believe I would expect him to pay for something that he's getting no use out of. To add to the annoyance, he makes very good money in his job. After we have our monthly outgoings, we are left with a very generous amount of money to play with. Put it this way. If he went out tomorrow and bought me a ring for £1,000, he would still have money left over to spend as he pleases. I also just want to add here that I never ask him for anything. We are pretty hardcore savers. We are currently saving for our dream house, and I often go months without buying myself something new. Also, in our conversation the other night, I told him that when it comes to buying my ring, I do not want him to spend anything over £400. There are plenty of amazing diamond rings in that price range that are exactly what I'm looking for. Guys, I'm kind of flabbergasted. Do I have a right to feel this way, though? Does he have a point? Wow. Okay, here we go. It's fine to have feelings about the marriage industrial complex. It's fine to think that engagement rings are outdated, problematic, or whatever. That's all fine. It's fine to communicate these things to your partner in a respectful, calm way. What's not fine is to get your partner excited about getting engaged, and then tell them to drop their spare dollars in a piggy bank like they're 5, and then act like it's so weird and bratty that your partner is like, wait, what? It's not fine to pretend like the man buying the engagement ring isn't held as the standard tradition by like everyone. It's not fine to react to your feelings with condescension and name-calling. It's super not fine that he doesn't see the point of spending money on something he won't wear. Then, in the comments, I see the story about your car. Wow, that's another level. He purposefully manipulated and lied to you to get what he wanted. It's even worse since it's regarding a huge financial decision. These are all red flags for financial A. What's yours is his, and what's his is his. And if it's not his, he'll lie until it is. Look, once is a mistake, twice is a pattern. I would bet a lot of money that there are many, many other instances of this type of behavior, even if it's small. Does he always forget his wallet? When you go out to dinner, does he order the lobster, 4 drinks and dessert when you just got a salad, and then want to split the check down the middle? Is he fair about expenses when you travel? Is he slow or forgets to pay money back? Well, why should I pay for it? I'm not going to be wearing it. So that's unfair. An actual real living and breathing 24-year-old man said this about an engagement ring? No one could possibly be this ignorant, utterly stupid, and have made it this many years. I'd have to suspect he's getting cold feet. Edit. Wait, I messed up. He's 36 years old. He doesn't want to get engaged and or married. I'm pretty non-traditional and probably won't want my fiancé to get me a ring when I get married. But even I think this guy is acting like an a-hole. Like, he got mad because after he never once expressed that he didn't like the expectations of a man buying a wedding ring. After listening to you talking about him buying you a ring, a great time for him to have, brought that up. You thought he would buy you a ring. Is he trying to pretend that somehow he didn't know that's how it usually goes down? I have a feeling this is going to graduate to him eventually acting mad because you thought he was going to get you a birthday present. But what benefit would that do him? Why are the dudes that date women a decade younger than them always like this? I have a best friend, Kristen. To preface, Kristen is in general an awesome friend. She is very polite and fun to be with. We have always gotten along great. She is pretty much a sister to me, and I love her and only want what's best for her. So, a year and a half ago, Kristen was getting tired of living with her parents for a number of reasons. The main one being that she had gotten a new job, and the 1.5-hour commute one way was really starting to get to her. We live in a pretty expensive area right outside New York City, because husband and I too commute. However, since we both mainly work remotely, it benefits us to have parks, country clubs, and actual neighborhoods, but still have the bus literally outside our door. It's a win-win. We are currently saving for a house. Geez, it's like $500,000 for a 2-bedroom and no backyard. But we still really like our current place. Kristen had a boyfriend at the time. However, in order to feel ready to get into the groove, pace, and paperwork of the large hospitals in our area, we had moved 3 hours away to work for a year at a slightly smaller one, to serve as a stepping stone. Half a year had passed since he started working, but Kristen couldn't wait another 6 months and was looking to move out. She complained to me that she needed a place and needed it now. The stress was too much. She proposed all of us moving into a townhouse. We currently have a small 2-bedroom. One room converted to an office since we work remotely mostly. She proposed husband and I could get one floor, and she and boyfriend could get the other. For 6 months we'd split the rent 3 ways, and then boyfriend would move down, and we could split the rent 4 ways. Even with 4 people, the rent alone wouldn't allow us to save for a house, so we disagreed. Kristen lamented, and so husband and I decided we could give her our office, move our desks into the bedroom, and in 6 months, boyfriend would move down, and she would move out. For a half of a year it seemed fine. Kristen would be closer to her job at a discounted rate, and we would get some extra money to put toward the house fund. Awesome. Well, 6 months passed and Kristen and boyfriend broke up. No biggie, she can stay here. We all get along great, and we can still be saving money. Let the good times roll. Now, the thing about Kristen is that she has a lot of medical issues. She has a chronic illness and is also very accident-prone. This leads her to being skipping out on work. During her time with us, she also got a surgery for her sinuses, and paired with her chronic illness, had left her to miss a lot of work, equals late rent and IOUs. Finally, due to unrelated reasons, her company downsized and got rid of an entire department. She lost her job. Uh-oh. To this, she said, "The hell with it," and quit searching for an office job to pursue her dream of working in film. She started working as a PA and in sound, carrying 50 pounds of equipment for hours at a time. She is only 5'2", and working 15-hour shifts. She seemed to enjoy the work, and it made her happy. I was proud and supported her. She then got cast for a role and went on an intense diet, losing about 25 pounds in a single month. Because of her intense schedule, it became my burden to prepare her specially made meals. I already did all the cooking at home, but now, aside from the meals husband and I already ate, I had to specially prepare hers. She stopped contributing to cleaning up. I also do all her laundry, which is okay since the laundry room is connected to our bedroom, as well as doing errands for her because she is too busy to run them herself. The madness stops for a while when she trips on set, causing her to twist an ankle and be in a leg brace for some time. Her chronic illness then flares up again. The leg, combined with the intense diet and crazy hours, finally get to her. She is a little behind on rent because she is a little behind on work. Finally, she lands a position as a production coordinator. She's moving up, and I can't be more happy for her. However, in October, she gets into a car accident. Not her fault. An elderly man decided to pass by the left lane, completely totaling her car. Kristen can walk and talk, but she has some neck, shoulder, and head pain that cause her to be dizzy and faint. Doctors first say that it is whiplash, but after a few weeks of it not going away, decided that this must be something more. However, she needs an MRI, and her insurance is making a big deal over covering it. So, for the time being, no MRI. Kristen stops working. She has no car. My husband and I encourage her to get a lawyer, and she said her dad is on it. She can't drive, so for several months my life turns upside down. I cook, I clean, I become Kristen's chauffeur. She was particular about the hospitals, so I would wind up driving her an hour or two away to see different specialists. My work hours dropped because my life revolved around being Kristen's nurse. She couldn't afford anything, even food. So now, not only no rent, but we'd be paying for all her meals, etc. as well. In that time span, she also got a pet cat, which she is allergic to. So it's not allowed in her room. Never mind, my husband is also slightly allergic to it. The cat isn't a horrible cat, but it is still a kitten, and gets into a lot of mischief, breaking husbands and mine belongings. Kristen apologizes, but couldn't pay it back. Now, the thing is, Kristen is an only child, who grew up upper middle class. The difference between her and I is she would own her own horses and have 7 dogs and Prada shoes, while I was sharing a bed with my younger sister at 17. So she has this sort of thing with money that she could almost always get what she wanted because she could always afford it. So from October to January, she kept thinking her issues were temporary, and she'd be able to work and pay us back immediately. So while she couldn't give us rent or food money, she would still go out and buy an entire 7-book hardcover collector's edition. And not just one, but 2, because, well, the other is so they won't get dirty. She would easily spend $200 at Lush because her skin is sensitive, she has allergies, and needs it. I've hinted that perhaps it's time to move back in with her parents, but she will lament and say how she's almost a 30-year-old woman and can't go back to being a kid, which I understand, but beggars can't exactly be choosers. In February, she finally spoke with a lawyer. She says that once the case is underway, I'll be able to back pay you guys and more. But who really knows? Her mother gave her her old car, which she doesn't like because it's pretty old, and she wants a new Prius with leather seats, etc., etc. She's angry that this old guy ruined her car and ruined her life. Her doctors might okay for her to start working in March, maybe. Sorry this has been so long, but pretty much this all had me freaking out a few weeks ago. We were celebrating my husband's birthday, and husband, as an early Valentine's Day gift, got us tickets for a trip to London. Mother-in-law commented, "Oh, Kristen is not coming? What will she do if you guys aren't taking care of her?" All of a sudden, Kristen needs to go. My husband is super chill and agrees, but I get a little bummed. Wasn't this for Valentine's? Our hotel is in the center of London, and Kristen can't afford that, so she takes an air mattress to sleep in our room. She gets her dad to pay for her plane ticket as an early birthday present, and arrangements are set. We give her our spare suitcase, help her pack, and overall have a lovely trip. It wasn't the romantic getaway I imagined, but still very fun. Then I get this message. Kristen loves this TV show, and it might not get renewed for a second season. So she texted me this comment on the finale. I just had a really depressing realization. I think part of the reason I cling so hard to Timeless and am so invested in it isn't just that it's a good show. That was the hype of how awesome everything was for me before the accident. That was the last thing I did at Cannes before leaving. Which, besides sleeping in on Monday and configuring my prints I bought, was the last thing I did before the accident. It was the last nice thing I ever had. Last nice thing I ever had. What the duck? Not me taking care of your pet, cleaning up, cooking, letting you come on our London trip, all the driving I've done, living for half a year rent-free. Clearly, none of these are nice things. What started as a great way to save money for a house has become me transforming into a full-time nurse. Husband is all very chill about this because he's not the one feeling the full extent of it. He's not being Kristen's personal assistant. He's not canceling his work hours or fiddling around with lame hospital Wi-Fi to spend days making Kristen feel better. He's not working in the living room while her kitten knocks my cup of water all over my laptop, almost frying it. Kristen is not a bad person, and she is in a tough spot. But her parents are only 35 minutes away. She has mentioned many times that she feels terrible about the situation and wants to pay us back. I've heard her bawling on the phone to another friend that she feels like a leech. She recently started working at her dad's office as an accountant, though it's only part-time, as she claims the pain is too much for her to be hunched over a desk the whole day, and she hates the job, wanting to go back to film. However, the year and a half she's been here, 1/3 of it has been rent-free, room and board covered. Even simple things like, for example, my car being in the shop, so may I borrow hers? I might need to work, so no, sorry. Hours later after taking a bus and then transferring to a train. Oh, I took a Benadryl and fell asleep. Guess you could have used it after all. She will occasionally pay for food, but those times are very far and few in between, and don't really balance out. For example, she'll pay $40 for my husband and with the surprise takeout meal, but then she'll go to her friend's birthday party and ask us to cover $80. I tried to propose that it would be better for her if she was with her parents. Her dad and she could carpool to work, and she'd be closer to a lot of her doctors. But maybe I'll get better soon. Even if she does get better soon, knowing her history, she will trip, or her chronic illness will flare up again, or something. If this was some random roomie from Craigslist, I'd give them a 30-day notice and tell them to pack their bags. However, she's actually sick. But the freebie days are over. How can I tell her to leave without sounding like a cruel and horrible person? She bought a cat and is spending money on luxury items without giving you guys anything. Why the duck are you letting this chick walk all over you? Grow a spine and kick her the duck out. She isn't treating you like a friend. She is treating you like a servant and a bank account. Kristen, I love you, but we can't afford to take care of you anymore. You need to find a way to pay us rent, or we need you to move out. And please, stop doing all the extra crap for her. You should have never been running her errands or cooking for her, unless she was paying you or reciprocating the favors. She sounds like she needs to figure out how to adult. She won't figure it out if you do it for her.